So it's morning once again, and as you can see, the sun has risen well and truly. I woke up at 5:30. I couldn't but get back to sleep. I'm annoyed about thoughts. I couldn't sleep because I'm annoyed that I had to let go of my job that was supposed to start Monday. Um, so I was sort of just tossing and turning, thinking, well, contemplating, if I were in the position and if I were the person who owned a house and a relative said, "Can I stay with you for a while to start a new job?" I would have said yes, but other people they want to say no. So unfortunately, that kind of generosity is not really is not really something that exists anymore amongst people. They think it's better to just, I don't know. Sometimes I think it's giving them leverage to be feeling like they're the only people who can earn money. But um, so in retrospect, I'm not giving out presents as freely and just giving out presents whenever I don't feel like it. And I might not even celebrate my birthday this year. I don't really feel like it either. So I don't know, but I might change my mind of have and let things roll on by. But anyway, I've been tossing and turning since 5:30. It's now like 7:30, and it's pretty obvious I'm not going to get any sleep anytime soon. So at like 7:10, I sent a text to say, sorry, the place I was gonna stay, says I can't board there anymore. So unfortunately, I sort of have to cut the strings with this job and let it go. So, but thanks anyway, my name. And so that's sort of the gist of what I said. I mean, it's not exactly what I said, but it's sort of like the gist. And I don't know, if they offer me like an apartment to stay in or something, I'd be like, I don't know, it's gonna be a crappy little apartment or something. But sometimes, I mean, it might work out okay. I I thought I had a pretty good interview yesterday, but I didn't hear back from them. They did say a few days, even though the end of the week is today, because they said you'll be contacted in a few weeks by the end of the week. So, since the end of this week's today, so maybe they meant the end of next week. Either way, I'd be very excited if I got that job position, but I was looking for jobs this morning, um, and I found this one that starts on Monday. So if they phoned up today and to interview me, I'd be like, yeah, I can start Monday, but it's only for 1 to 2 weeks. So, but that's good because that would sort of ease me off my depression of not having much money and make me think that, well, I'd rather do 2 weeks than nothing and be depressed because I'm quite sad that I had to let that job opportunity go, even though it's a little bit of a nifty opportunity. But I would have rather have tried, I would have rather had someone say, yeah, sure, stay with me for a while you sort out whether or not this job is actually legitimate. I would even take the basis, yeah, try it for a week and see if it works out. And then, after, from after a week, if it's working out okay, just go find a rental. So, but of course that can blow up in your face even after a week, but at least you've tried the week. Because sometimes you show up at workplaces and other people make disputes and then they're like, oh, we don't want you to work here, get out, sort of thing. So, it can be that kind of thing that happens where things seem legitimate and then you turn up and then, you know, staff members might find an excuse to want you thrown off the job. So I mean, that's happened before, even in the most legitimate jobs. I mean, I had when I was quite a bit younger, I had an office job opportunity, and then everyone sort of bullied me into a sector of the office in which I was offered a new opportunity, and then they said, "Oh, she can't have that opportunity. That's better than the one that we kicked her off, right?" And so they had someone with brave to stalk after the additional opportunity, and then within 1 to 2 weeks, that whole job, I think it was 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, the whole job fell apart, and it didn't last for very long. So things like that can happen, and so that's why it's good to trial things before you make drastic moves into rentals that you can't afford unless you're actually working. So that's a danger of just dipping into a rental. But I went to apply for the only rental that's immediately available at the moment, and all the others are like available within 2 to 3 weeks. And their acceptance for you arranging to move in is only like from a week's time. Like if you applied today and said, I want a place by Sunday, they don't accept that. They accept from a week's time, say, like, and so I virtually would need it in the next 2 days. Otherwise, no point. I've lost my job, and I'm not really gonna be wanting to move anywhere. So, but I was sort of tempered a little bit. I'm crying a little bit this morning because I'm just frustrated that people would be kind of pig-headed about you staying with them. And I wish I could talk people into allowing you to stay with them, because I don't really like these secret texts. I mean, I get looked at like I'm being speculated, and then who I'm living with sent little secret text stuff to gossip, like, and I don't really like people talking about you behind your back. I mean, I think they outlined a 3-month vantage is realistic of what you'd be sitting on if you open the door. So I outlined 1 month. I mean, it might be skimming it a bit, but that's if after trialing it for a week and applying for a rental right away, and that's 1 month down the toilet. Because it takes 2 weeks for a rental just to decide whether or not they want you, usually, or up to 2 weeks, anyways. Sometimes it takes less. It really depends. But I knew the area I'd be wanting to rent because you generally feel uncomfortable in most other areas. I do like Nunnadah because it's cheaper, or Northgate because it's cheaper, but sometimes you go to stop at the train station and it's flooded, like you can't walk on the street or go anywhere, and so then you'd be pissed off that you can't just go back into your rental, make dinner, and go to sleep after a day of work. So I think it's really foolish to choose a place like that, because virtually you have to stay on the trains, go visit a casino for hours before the water recedes, and you can actually go to home to sleep. So you don't want to end up in those sorts of areas. And most things south of the city, that also undergoes floods a lot. Not everything, like, but a lot of areas do flood quite frequently throughout a year. And you can, yeah, sometimes buildings just fall apart too. Like even living in the city, it's like city buildings fall down, like windows fall down a lot and all this other stuff. I don't know if the building falls down, but I don't know, but you have to get up high in the city. Otherwise you'll meet a flood and it's really annoying. So you don't want to meet a flood in the city. You don't want to be in the lower rungs, and so you're spending the more money. But either way, I like this area that's a little out from the city and has a lot of little rental houses, and they're quite secure in some ways. I mean, before I've brought in pets, and I've come back and someone's broken in and stolen the pets, which was really annoying. Um, because I had a little collection of teacup pets, and I sort of wanted to, yeah, but I couldn't. They were stolen, so they were all stolen, so it wasn't any good. Anyway, I got to change this camera position. So unless you're working at home, because rentals are still unsafe. I mean, the people who, the real estate agents or owners of the building try and break in when you are and aren't there, and they rummage through your stuff a bit. So rentals are usually still pretty insecure, and I don't like, having a place and bringing pets and then having your pet stolen. I usually go for kind of, expensive pets, and so, people just look at them and want to grab them. I've literally been mugged of a pet, just walking a pet down the street because everyone's like, oh, isn't that a cute dog? And then they want it, you know. I used to have some sort of, I don't know if it was a Kilcoy or a different kind of dog, but I had this little tiny woofy dog. It's about knee height, I think. And I was doing very well bringing it up, and it was well looked after. It's walking well with me. I was sort of like living by myself, and someone just virtually said, "Oh, that's the world's cutest dog. I have to have it." And then they sort of stole it off me while I was walking it. They like stole the lead and snatched the lead and picked up the dog, and then they ran off with it. So yeah, so I didn't get to keep that dog. I've had a couple of those types of dogs. Yeah, but one was stolen. The other one accidentally died after a cyclone or tornado hit a building. So unfortunately, these things happen. But yeah, it's no good when you don't feel like you're stable enough to look after a pet. So I try not to get a pet, but sometimes I really have my wits end, and I think, oh, I would love a little pet, But a lot of buildings and stuff I've worked in are so unstable. It's like there's always cyclones and floods, killing the idea of what is supposed to be a forever home. So anyway, it's enough talking about pets, and I need to make other people depressed because I am. But yeah. Anyway, got a long day ahead of doing virtually what I did yesterday, which was just a lot of computer work. Computer work from 12. I'm on my last leg with my solar job. I'm on the last leg of opportunity with it because I'm not really getting anywhere with it. People say, "Oh, we'd love to make an appointment," but they don't send you the information you need to make one. So far, I haven't made any